Bonjour à tous. Thank you for joining us this evening. Merci d'être parmi nous ce soir. My name is Kendra Titley and I will be your moderator. Je m'appelle Kendra Titley et je serai l'animatrice de ce point de presse. Today we will be hearing remarks from Mayor Le Maire Jim Watson, Kim Ayotte, General Manager, Emergency and Protective Services, Directeur Général des Services de Protection et d'Urgence, Joseph Mulia, Director, System Operations and Grid Automation, Director, Exploitation du Système et Automisation du Réseau, and René Amilcar, General Manager, Transit Services, Directrice Générale, Service de Transport en Commun. We also have additional city staff and representatives from Hydro Ottawa available to answer questions following remarks. At this time, I would like to invite His Worship Jim Watson, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much, Kendra, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Merci d'accepter notre invitation. Thank you for joining us, members of the media. I know a number of members of council are also watching in, and members of the public on our YouTube channel for the City of Ottawa. I want to begin by thanking all of our first responders who have been working tirelessly over the course of the last couple of hours. I've never seen such an unbelievable, powerful storm of this nature. Obviously, we had the tornado a few years ago, which was a tornado. This storm certainly has reached every corner of our city, and I very much appreciate all of the help that our residents are receiving from police, fire, paramedics, Hydro, Ottawa, Hydro One, OC Transpo, Public Works, Bylaw, our 311 Operations Center, the 911 Operations Center. And I also have heard from a number of councillors who have been out in their communities who have seen firsthand or have heard secondhand of neighbors going around helping neighbors, bringing a chainsaw, clearing a driveway, clearing a tree that's fallen on a roof, blocking a street. So we appreciate the good neighbor approach that we've seen in the last little while. Before our leaders in the Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, provide the latest information, I want to take a moment to address this to the people of Ottawa. We know that the storm has touched every corner of our city and that many residents in all areas are experiencing power outages. Nous savons que la tempête a touché tous les coins de la ville et que de nombreux résidents de tous les quartiers subissent des pannes d'électricité. While city staff have been deployed and are responding in all areas, I would ask that everyone remain patient. I'd also like to remind residents that 311 should be only called for emergency situations. We're experiencing, as you can well imagine, very high call volumes. And I know operators are doing their very best to field calls in a timely fashion. But if it is not an urgent matter, I'd ask that you please hold off on calling 311. Please continue to check social media for the latest updates from Hydro Ottawa, Ottawa Police and Emergency Services, Bylaw, and the City of Ottawa. We've been working with our local media partners to help communicate news to residents as quickly as possible. Sometimes that's as a result of people having transistor radios because they don't have electricity. And I want to thank them, all of these individuals in the media, for their assistance to do whatever we can to get as much information out as possible during the next 12 to 24 hours as we continue to deal with live wires, blocked roads, damaged public and private property. So I'm now going to pass it over to Kim Ayotte. Kim is the General Manager of Emergency and Protective Services, and he'll provide an update, and then we'll hear from Joseph Muglia, Hydro Ottawa, and then René Amilcar, the General Manager of OC Transpo. Kim?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Bonne soirée à tout le monde. Today's storm was a major weather event causing significant damage across Ottawa. Sorry. We are used to weather events in the city, but every one of them is unique. This one hit us hard, it hit us fast, and it hit virtually the entire city, rural communities, the suburbs, and our urban center. I was out at the airport earlier and I saw telephone posts knocked down and large trees uprooted and several hydro lines being split in half. It was incredible. The sheer area that was affected is like nothing we've seen in my memory. This response is varied: down trees, power outage that's affecting the LRT, gas outages, damages to personal residents, personal injuries, blocked roads, and more. In response, the City of Ottawa's Emergency Operations Center has went into enhanced operations, and we are engaged with partners like Hydro Ottawa, Public Works, Ottawa Fire, Police, and Paramedic Services, as well as many other city services who are all out there trying to help every resident possible. The city has deployed services throughout the area in response. We know that there are many calls for services and by hundreds of residents. Our 311 phone system has been flooded with calls. Please only call 311 for public safety emergencies at this time. The service is prioritizing calls, so you may experience a long wait. 311 has a callback feature that you may prefer to use. Please stay off the roads as much as possible so that emergency vehicles can have clear access. For all issues related to power lines, please contact Hydro Ottawa directly. We expect cleanup from the storm to take several days. We must all be patient, and crews are working as fast as they can to safely as they can. If you have neighbors that need assistance, please check on them, but make sure you do so in a safe manner. Follow the city's social media channels for the latest information and your local media outlets. If you have any battery-powered or crank radio, you can tune into your local news and stay informed. On behalf of the city, I want to thank you for understanding, your patience, and we look forward to please look out for each of you. Please look out for your neighbors and yourselves, and we will be there to help you shortly. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Kim. Next is Joseph Muglia. Maybe Joseph, you can spell your last name from Hydro Ottawa, the benefit of the media.
Sure, thank you very much. The last name spelling is Muglia. So we have been hit, that we haven't had a hit like this as far as Hydro Ottawa goes since the tornadoes, of course. But this is a little bit different because this is so widespread across the city. It's certainly not localized by any means. We're currently dealing with just over 179,000 customers out, which works out to just a little over half of our customer base. We're dealing with over 1,000 localized outages across the city. And the problem is that not only do we have localized distribution issues within the system, but we've also got issues with our provincial supplier and loss of supply to the city as well. So it's kind of a combination of things, and it's certainly challenging right now. We're just we've got all available crews coming in, all available resources that we can. We'll be mobilizing them across the city, partly doing damage assessment, partly restoring as we can. And really, if you drive around, you'll notice there's whole pole lines down. And the problem with that is a lot of those pole lines deliver power to our substations across the city. So of course, with those pole lines down, we've lost supply to some of our substations as well. So it's very challenging. I know the power has been out for a couple of hours now, but in relative terms, it's still early in trying to establish exactly what we're dealing with here. We're probably more than likely, we're dealing with a multi-day event here. We'll certainly be restoring power wherever we can possible, but again, it's gonna partly depend on loss of supply issues from our provincial supplier, as well as some of those longer pole lines that are down that will require replacement. So very challenging event right now. Again, it's early stages. We're having conference calls and calls with our ICC, our emergency response. We're having those hourly right now, and that will continue on throughout the evening and foreseeable for the next few days. So that's what we're dealing with right now. I would advise, if you see wires down anywhere, just stay away from the wires, contact us, stay up to date with what's going on at hydroottawa.com. Call our outage line as well. If you see anything that's suspect or that you're concerned about, please let us know.
So thank you very much, Joseph. So I assume that your crews are out all night working to get power restored. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's a fair statement. We will concentrate our efforts while we have daylight for sure. It gets a little bit more challenging and dangerous if we're trying to assess and fix things at nighttime, but we will have crews around the clock, with the bulk of them being during the daylight hours.
The map that shows outages on the Hydro Ottawa website, is that at this stage accurate, and is it updated, I believe, every 15 minutes?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. OK, thank you, merci. La prochaine, la dernière porte-parole, c'est René Amilcar, qui est responsable pour le transport commun. René, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. So good afternoon, everyone. At approximately 4:30 p.m. this afternoon, our train line lost power and trains safely stopped along the system. Most trains stopped at stations, and 2 trains stopped in mid-station. At the time the storm hit, there was low ridership on the LRT system. Our customers safely disembarked within 30 minutes, and we are currently running a run service from Tunis Pasteur to Blair Station as we work to restore LRT service. Our train line draws electricity from various power sources across the city. We are working with our Ottawa partners to restore our train line 1 service as soon as possible. Our transit operations control center working in real time. So I just received that we should be able to restore the service partially from Blair to Herdman, which is a good news for our customers. Due to downed trees, we are also running some bus routes on a day tour. And update will be provided for sure on a regular channel. And I would like to say that we don't have any issues reported for our paratransport customers. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Est-ce que tu peux répéter ça en français, s'il vous plaît?
Absolument, oui, avec plaisir. Donc, vers 4h30, nous avons perdu l'électricité sur toute la ligne des trains et tous les trains ont pu s'arrêter de façon sécuritaire. Nous avons quand même 2 trains qui se sont arrêtés en milieu de station. Donc, de façon sécuritaire, en moins de 30 minutes, tous les passagers qui étaient à bord de ces trains-là ont pu être évacués. Et donc, nous avons mis en place le service R1 pour pouvoir donner le service de Tunis Pasteur à Blair. Présentement, mon équipe au centre de contrôle m'a avisé que l'électricité a repris dans la portion est de la ville. Donc, de Blair à Herdman, oui, on va être en mesure de donner le service partiellement. Donc, on va continuer le R1 pour l'autre portion du service. Donc, on a aussi quelques détours de bus parce qu'on a plusieurs arbres dans les rues. Donc, puis pour l'instant, on ne me rapporte pas aucun enjeu avec notre service pour le transport adapté. Merci.
Merci. Kendra?
Thank you very much. For members of the media who have questions, please raise your hand and introduce yourself before you ask your question. Pour les membres des médias qui ont des questions, veuillez lever la main et vous présenter avant de poser votre question et question de suivi. I understand CBC is on the line. CBC, please go ahead and ask your question.
Might be on mute.
All right, in the meantime, CBC, we will go to our next media outlet. I understand CTV is also on the line. Ted Raymond, you may ask your question.
Hi there, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I'm wondering if you can, if maybe Mr. Ayat or someone can provide us with some more details on the extent of any injuries that may have been reported or occurred over the course of this storm.
Certainly, I'd be happy to help with that. I believe our paramedic chief is online and our fire chief is on the line. So, Pierre, can you comment on the injuries at this point?
Thanks for that. Thanks for the question. There have been several injuries that have been reported. Two of particular note have been injuries that were critical injuries that were sustained at golf courses, at two separate golf courses. Those individuals have both been transported to hospital in critical condition. There's also been injury related to a motor vehicle accident, which resulted in also serious injuries to that individual. Otherwise than that, we've been very busy. We did reach a level 0 during this event. That is since is no longer. And the hospital's been very helpful in terms of unloading patients, and we're able to meet our service demands. And if it's a true emergency, please call 911. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. That was very good. Perhaps I could just ask our fire chief to give us a brief update on what's happening out there with regards to the fire services. Paul Hutt.
Yeah, thank you, General Manager. As of from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock this afternoon, fire service has been working extremely close with all partners with the city, public works, police, paramedics, hydro, forestry crews. We reached, as I stated, around 500 calls for service, and that ranged anywhere from buildings, roof collapsing as a result of the strong storm event. We had a number of motor vehicle accidents and collisions throughout the city. We also responded to a number of arcing and downed hydro wires, and it was. I just want to reiterate something that was shared by Ottawa Hydro just a few minutes ago. There are a number of hydro wires and bell wires across the city down in trees. What I do urge residents is to treat them as if they're live. They're dangerous. Please stay away from them. Notify Ottawa Hydro, and if they're arcing or of concern at all, please continue to phone 911. Thank you, GM.
I think we have the Ottawa Police as well. Inspector, did you want to add anything? Inspector Palmer, I believe.
No, just to reiterate everything that's been said, since the storms came in, we've been working with our partners and dealing with numerous calls, and we're still dealing with the calls, and we're triaging them with the priorities and whatnot of when the calls come in and what's being said on the calls. So I'd just like to remind people to call 911 for emergencies only, and if there's a down line or whatnot and it's not an emergency, they'd call our non-emergency line at 613-236-1222.
Thank you. Kendra?
Thank you very much. Nous allons maintenant à Radio-Canada. Radio-Canada, vous pouvez poser votre question.
Oui, bonjour, Rebecca Kwan de Radio-Canada. Ma question, c'est est-ce que vous avez un état des blessés ou des décès? Je sais qu'il y a eu un décès dans la rivière des Outaouais. Est-ce qu'on a d'autres détails par rapport à ça? Est-ce qu'il y a eu d'autres décès ou blessés?
Oui, notre chef de paramédic, Pierre Poirier, est sur la ligne. Il pourrait bien donner des informations sur ça. Merci.
On ne peut pas confirmer en ce moment des décès. Il y a deux individus qui sont en état critique, qui nous autres, on a transporté au Civic, aux hôpitaux d'Ottawa. Alors, présentement, on ne peut pas confirmer des décès en ce moment, mais il y en a eu un autre accident véhiculaire où un autre individu est en forme critique présentement.
D'accord, merci.
Merci beaucoup. Are there any other media on the line who have yet to ask their question?
Hi, Michelle Allen, CBC. What happened to the person who had the tree fall on them? It's my understanding that Ottawa Fire said one person was trapped under a tree at around 5:39 p.m. this evening.
Yep, perhaps Chief Hutt could speak to that, as well as Chief Poirier with regards to the extent of the injuries, if that's available.
Thank you so much. With this significant storm event, there were extremely high winds, and with that resulted in a number of large trees collapsing, branches collapsing to the ground, which we did assist in that. But I will turn it over to my colleague in paramedics, Pierre, to provide further information.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Actually, when I referred to one of those individuals who was seriously or critically injured, it was in relation to an injury. A tree did fall on an individual at a local golf course, and that was one of the individuals that we transported in serious and critical condition to the hospital.
Thank you.
Sorry, if I can add, we are aware of several injuries. One did result in a death of an individual in the West End. The coroner is on scene. We're not going to be releasing any more information until we're able to notify the family.
Thank you very much. Are there any other media on the line? All right, this is all the time that we have today. C'est tout le temps que nous disposons aujourd'hui. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you. Merci.